What's going on, guys? It's Digimon TCG coming to you with another Market Watch. Now, today we're going to be going over a couple of cards that might be influenced by the recent couple of weekends that we had. We had a couple of Ultimate Cups over this and last weekend. PBG hosted one, Top Cut hosted one. Carta Magica hosted one that I was part of, and I could definitely give you some insight about the Xamon, why it might be going up right now. But I definitely want to go over that, and I also want to go over some other picks for future formats as well. This is not going to be too long a market watch. I'm just going to go over the main stuff and some things I think you should know before picking this deck up. Now, with that said, please like, subscribe, leave your thoughts below, and let's get into it. Now, starting things off, Xamon. I want to talk about Xamon. Xamon won the Carta Magica event, and I can just tell you about what the last event was, and then also there is a video of the deck profile online as well by the winner. I believe he's the one who put it up, but also he also puts his matchups up as well, which kind of gave me a little bit of like an like just take this with a grain of salt kind of mentality. And so what happened with the event is that there were three undefeated, and the top two undefeated, which was Melga and Set Control, both tied with, and Examon's matchup he won, which he was the undefeated. So the tournament ended at 7 rounds because there was one clear undefeated champion, which was the Examon player. And congratulations to that player. I think that's really good. Something I noticed when I was watching his video though was that about 5 of those rounds were against Melgarumon. And the thing I just want to say is that grain of salt is that if you're placing one deck, you might have a really good matchup against it, which is good. But if you aren't playing too many of the other decks, or you don't have that versatility of the other decks, then it's only going to say, well, yeah, against Melgarumon it's really good. But what about if I'm playing, a set control player, or I'm facing against like a DP, a yellow hybrid player? There are those other things to keep in mind, that if you're playing those opponents, then you may not always have that advantage that Xamon has in most of its matchups against Melgarumon. So that's just something to keep in mind. This is nothing against any of the players or anyone who is an Xamon player. It's just an observation on my end, just to say, hey, this card might be going up in price, but keep in mind that its win comes with that little bit of stipulation that it did face a lot of Melgarumon players. So just keep that in mind. Now, as a deck itself, it is a fun deck to play. My goodness, it's a fun deck to play. I have it myself, and I have 4 copies of the card. Myself, I got on the weekend it was announced. I've been looking to play this deck for quite a while. And we have 25 listings here, and it is going about that $50 mark. So you may want to wait like maybe a week, see if it cools down a little bit, and it may. So I think it honestly may. But yeah, this is not financially advisement. This is just my opinion. So take that with a grain of salt. Garurumon Event Pack 2, $20. I think that Melga, oh, I should say this. Melga definitely saw a bunch more tops in both events, this and last weekend, and Top Cut. Top Cut specifically had, I think, 7 Melgarumon players, which first and second, there was like the top 8 were all like Melgarumon players playing each other. We don't get any more product until next year. In February, and that I think is going to be right around the time that nationals take place. So people, if they're looking to play this deck at that point, might look to pick this up. But if you're done with the deck, if you're like, well, I'm done, I'm not going to play this deck, I'm going to wait for the next set, or I'm going to play with some other decks, have some fun at locals, then absolutely, sell this. Sell this as a hot cake. But keep in mind that we don't have Event Pack 2 anymore. We have Event Pack 3 that are at the regional events, and probably going to go into next year as well. So you may want to also consider that, and consider picking this up if you are going to events. But if you're not going to any events, yeah, I would just leave this alone or sell it. Garurumon promo, well, it's $15, and kind of going along with the other one, it is a card that I would feel is potentially going to be banned in the future at some point. It lets you draw so many cards. You do like 3 or 4 attacks in one turn sometimes with Garurumon. Gets you 4 cards to hand. Gives you a lot of advantage, because the more cards you have in hand sometimes is really all you need to get all your sources ready and go. So this might be on a chopping block at some point in the future. I don't know. I can't see the future, but it's something to keep in mind. Now, again, if you're done with the deck, sell it. I think that you should. Um, if you're not, and you're just like, you know what, I'm just gonna look to play different decks. I don't really care about Garurumon. It was a deck that got me my invite, but that's it. Then yeah, then you're fine. Bloomlord. We had 4 Hydramon decks top, and the top cut I think, and Bloomlord is a beautiful card in my opinion. I don't play green. I don't. So for me to just say like Bloomlord is a good card, I really do think that it is. So that might be something you want to consider picking up. And the artwork is just so good. I mean, I think it's personally one of the best artworks that the game has ever put out. Um, so yeah, consider that. Venusmon. So I can definitely tell you this: in the Top Cut event and in the PVG event, Venusmon definitely made her appearances, and it does really well. It blankets the field with -1, turns off attacking and digivolving effects, which stops a bunch of different decks from OTKing you, and then it gives you some support by continuously just using this if they have any kind of security effect themselves. So if you're playing something like Melgarurumon that has the inherited +1 security, as soon as they go into Melgarurumon, then their digivolving effects do not occur if they have 8 or more cards in hand. So this is a very good counter, and there's definitely a bunch of different decks that utilize this, especially set control. Do I think you should get this in by buying a box and chancing it? No, no, no. We see about $37. I think that it is pretty much going to stay there. Maybe even go up a little bit, $40 in the future. This card I think is going to see play for quite a while, and keep in mind that we know that we're at some point we're going to get Olympus 12 support, Olympus 12 support in the future. So keep that in mind. Now we're going to switch over to some future thoughts. So in EX4, I think it's the Royal Knight set. We do get a new Omnimon, and it is really good. But this one is also a good card to kind of hold onto as well. You can Digivolve onto a red or a black Digimon, and it de-digivolves 1 on the whole field. And then if they become level 3, if they are 5,000 DP or less, it deletes them, and then when attacking, you can make it unblockable by returning 1 of the level 6 Digivolution cards to your hand. That's good. I think this is going to be a one of that when the deck actually ends up showing itself like fully, and all the reveals are shown. This is something you want to consider picking up. But even better than that, I think that this one is the one you should pick up. This is a $6.50. Even though it's a little less than the other one, I think the artwork is much better on this one. So I would definitely consider picking this one up over the other one. And it's cheap. It's less than $10. Consider that. Some other picks. This is not really related to regional tops or any future support, but Hina I think is a very good and underrated tamer. Kind of like how Analog Youth initially was. Like not a lot of people were using Analog Youth, other than purple players, but now a lot of other decks were like teching in 1 copy of Analog Youth. So Hina says like if your opponent has a Digimon in play, gain 1 memory, and most of the time your opponent is gonna have something in play, and so this is good for decks that maybe struggle with having the ability to gain memory. And if you play a couple of copies of this, you're able to gain 1 memory for every every Hina you have in the field. So that's really good. And not only that, but when you play it with the actual deck, Rock, Earth, Machine, and Sky Dragons, Dragon Links, you can suspend it to create the on play effect, or turn the Digivolve, use like the on play effect on Digivolve. Basically turns it into a Digivolution effect. But it's her effect, which is an interesting concept. I want to talk about that in a sec. So I'm just going to go through these two here. We have $12.50 and $17.50. I think $17, $18. I think they're worth picking up. At least 1 copy just to have for collection purpose. Hina, though, is interesting because if you don't know the combo here, you could Digivolve Metallic Germon on top of a Digimon and trigger Hina, and you could trigger as many Hinas as you have in play. So if you have 4 Hinas, you can activate the Digivolve effect 4 times, which most of the time will end up actually locking your opponent out of Digivolving. So that is something to keep in mind. You may want to consider picking these up because they are going to see a little bit of increase in if people start thinking about how they're going to put this in. Also, you could tech in other things, Ragnar Lordmon, Omnimon X antibody into these to be able to do stuff with them, because you can digivolve the Omnimon X onto Volcantramon, and you can DNA into Ragna, which if you have a very good stack, then geez, you can do a lot with this deck. So that's just the mention over there. We do have something. Okay, now this is something I wanted to talk about real quick. Agumon Tamer Evolution Box 2. So the image is not here, but I'm going to show you something. This is the card I'm talking about here, the Agumon. This is from the set, and it might actually see a lot of play. Now I'm talking about a little further beyond. When we get to BT 12, I think it is. We get the new market support, and it looks to be fire. No pun intended on the picture, but it looks to be really fun. Being able to bring Marcus into as a Digimon just works with his character, and I love it. And this is the alternate art, and I was looking up this the other day, and I was like, you know what? Let me see if they have this. Maybe just get it. And I know that some of them are actually really cheap, and I got actually one of the cheap ones, but we could see here. The price here was like $5, $5. Then it goes to $2 over here, and then it finally ends up being $9. This guy has 0% feedback, but you see here, as a verified seller, not about $10, about $11. Then it just continuously goes up, and then we get 15, 30, and etc. I wouldn't get the things that are 15 or more, but you may want to consider picking that up if you are looking to play the deck in the future, rather than past year. Keep in mind, though, they always can make reprints of these cards, so yeah, that's just something to keep in mind. Another card I thought was interesting, and it's not necessarily played in the deck, but it's a good alternative that you can use, is Rise Greymon. Digivolve from 3 over any level 4, yellow or red. And then it's considered a yellow as well. And then you can Digiburst 2 to play a Tamer from your hand, and the actual effect is able to be played. Keep in mind, this is a red or a yellow Tamer, and when you attack one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 2,000. So this is an altar art that's out of Great Legend. Not a lot of Great Legend is being opened, and there's plenty. There's almost 50 listings here, so you may want to consider 1 or 2 copies to pick up, even just one for collection, because this is a great design. I love the artist here. Asmaria, of course. Asmaria is the one that wrote that. Shine Greymon, same reasoning, kind of. It's played in some of the decks I've seen, or the lists I've seen, being about 2 of them in the deck. And if you're looking to play this deck, you may want to consider throwing it in there. I don't know if it'll last the entire year. It might, but Shine Greymon is just a very, very good card, and personally one of my favorite designs for a Digimon. I'm not huge into red, but the fact that they made yellow Shine Greymon, it looks awesome. I love it, and definitely would consider picking up. And you can see it's been going up slowly. So definitely pick yours up before it starts to jump. As you can see, it is jumping. So definitely pick those up. Now the last card we will be going over today is Marcus. So Marcus, if you don't know, the new one has a really great and fun effect. I think they whoever made the new one just was having so much fun. Basically, the new one says if you promote an Agumon, starting your main phase, if you have an Agumon or Greymon in play, you can, I think it's pay 1 memory to bring Marcus out. Or I think it just makes Marcus basically into a Digimon. It makes it treat this Tamer as a Digimon, 3000 DP. It's a red and yellow Tamer, the new one. And then you can, when you attack with it, you can Digivolve one of your other Greymons or Agumons into the next level without paying its memory cost, I think, for 1 cost. So basically, Marcus allows you to attack your opponent with a 3,000, and then the whole deck kind of revolves around like putting Marcus back in security and then playing Marcus again. It's pretty fun. Honestly, it looks like a lot of fun. The only other Marcus we have though is this Marcus that's a box topper from Great Legend, and as I just said, it's not really opened as much anymore, so you may want to consider picking these up. This is the memory. It's a memory tamer, which is really good. It starts you at 3. Also, when you attack, it gains you a memory. So if this Marcus and the other Marcus are both on the field, and you attack with a Greymon or a Rise Greymon, you can gain back that memory that you used to Digivolve your Rise Greymon. And the new Rise Greymon gives you a memory as well, so you can actually go up to 4 using like these effects. But this is the foil print. I have 2 copies, fortunately, in my own collection. But if you are looking for a playset or you're looking to play multiple copies of this, it is starting to go up here. I think a lot of people are having the same idea I am. There is a rare version, which I think is like very, very little. If I go to Great Legend, let's just take a quick look here. We're going to just skip down. Let me see if I can just go to Tamers here, just kind of save the trouble. Okay, here we go, Tamer. We have the box topper. Oh yeah, so like if you're looking just to get the rare, like the rare here is like 40 cents. And as you see, that is still going up a little bit too. But if you're looking for the max rarity of it, it is the one I just showed you. Let me see if I can go back a few. Here, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, here we go. So yeah, you can see it's going up, and I definitely would recommend picking this up if you are a big fan of Marcus. If you're, I personally am a big fan of him. I'm gonna be also using him in like Black or Greymon maybe, or other things like that. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Are you excited? I'm pretty excited. I think this is going to be a lot of fun format when we get to MBT 12, which it will be in a couple months, but definitely consider picking it up. Thank you for watching, and have a great one, guys.